morning. Thanks for joining us here on KARE 11 Plus. Thanks for streaming with us here. Jason and Alicia, ready for a warm week ahead. Cannot wait for this.
So we're talking 40s this week, John. Is this the end of January?
Record breaking too?
Yeah.
It could be. It could be. We're still at kind of that coldest time of the year. If we can hit 48 on Thursday, then we would tie a record. So yeah, we're right there. Record-breaking warmth is here after almost record-breaking cold air. This is why I love Minnesota. This is actually why I'm in the business, is because of winter Minnesota. It's absolute chaos, and I love it. So yeah, you can go 40 below, 40 above. You never know. You can't really do that in the summer. 29 out here as we speak. Very warm. Grand Marais, 12. They didn't get the memo today that we're warming up. What the heck? Yeah, no, they're getting a snowstorm kind of up there, 3 to 6 inches of snow. Very hyper local, and most of us aren't going to see anything but warmth. You could see the winds. Now, see right here? The winds actually come back. There's an actual circulation here. Now, why do we talk about warm days when the low is to the north? If the low was a magnet and the magnet moved to your north, all the winds come out of the south, and that's exactly what it is. We have south winds, and we are warming quickly here today. Grand Marais does not have a south wind, so they're going to be dealing with something totally different than the rest of us. But winds are going to be out there today, and they're going to be pretty breezy. Winds could gust over 35 miles per hour. So while we're talking about warm temperatures, we're also talking about windy conditions. Winds out of the west at 20 to 35 miles per hour, but some 40s. Just put a sweatshirt on and enjoy the day. We're talking about even warmer weather, like I said. We'll also take a look at some of that snow in northern Minnesota. A little everything here in your forecast coming up.
Well, things were pretty quiet out on the roads before 7 o'clock, but right after 7, things started getting pretty active out there. Taking a look at this now in Minneapolis, stalled vehicle / crash situation on Highway 62 westbound. This is between Highway 77 and then Bloomington Avenue. You see this left lane is kind of blocked here. Traffic having to move around this as they make their way toward Richfield and Edina. So just add a few extra minutes if this will be on your route in the next few minutes here. Otherwise, things are still kind of slow moving across the entire metro. Some of this is from lingering crashes, others just from the morning rush. I'll have more on what I'm seeing around the metro when I see you next.
Thank you, Cece. Our top story this morning. Right now, polls are open in Northeast Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's for the special election to fill the state Senate seat in District 60. Let's take a look here. Right now, the two parties are tied with 33 members each after the passing of DFL Senator Kerry Dietzick. Michelle Beck is live from the polls this morning. And Michelle, today's election will decide the balance of power in the state Senate once and for all.
Yeah, it's been a very fast-moving process inside the polling place here at Webster Elementary. Fast, really because there's just one empty seat, that one empty Senate seat that folks here in District 60 are voting for. Of course, it's a simple single question, but of course also a very consequential one, as it'll determine which party controls the Senate. Since the start of the legislative session, Republicans and DFLers have been evenly split in the Senate. That's after Senator Kerry Dietzick passed away last month, leaving voters in Northeast Minneapolis to decide who will fill her seat. Here are the results from the special primary. Republican Abigail Walters won for her party with 72% of the vote. Running against a wider pool, Democrat Doran Clark got 38% of his party's vote. Now, guys, in 30 minutes, I'll give you a look at how the state Senate has been operating all this time while being in that tie. Like you mentioned, the polls have been open for an hour now, and it'll stay open until 8 o'clock tonight. Back to you.
All right, Michelle Beck reporting live from that polling site. Thank you. Over to the State House now. The balance of power won't be resolved until a special election that's not scheduled until at least March, and it's now leaving lawmakers in limbo.
I'm Jennifer Hoff. The stalemate continues in the Minnesota House 3 weeks now into the start of the legislative session. The DFL continues to boycott, too, over the lack of a power-sharing agreement, and because the GOP won't assure them Democratic Representative Brad Tapke will keep his seat. Now, the Republicans have a temporary majority, but the High Court just ruled it doesn't have enough votes to conduct official business. Yesterday, the GOP tried to compel the DFL to come to work or face a fine, while the Democrats asked for something in writing as the two speaker designates continued to negotiate.
Tonight in Lakeville, the school board is expecting a packed house as they decide whether to remove an inclusive poster series from the schools. The meeting begins at 7, but this issue is at the bottom of the agenda below the public comment period. This is what the posters look like. Some say Black Lives Matter, some have messages about diversity. The public has already taken their comments to social media, with parents sounding off over the removal of 3,000 posters that school officials tell us were, quote, to support creating equal communities where students are respected, valued, and welcome. Now, not every parent agrees with the district's stance. In fact, some filed a lawsuit arguing the district didn't permit Blue Lives Matter posters. While it was previously dismissed, a federal appeals judge reinstated the lawsuit in June.
Also developing right now, parents and families in Eden Prairie are pushing for the district to change this year's graduation date. The June 7th date falling on Eid, a major Muslim holiday. Many saying the district is forcing families to choose between celebrating the holiday and their seniors' accomplishments. A packed school board meeting last night as parents expressed their concerns.
This is a hardship and a crisis that their mismanagement created, and they should make it right.
So when making their decision, the school district says they met with cultural liaisons and Muslim faith leaders. They also sent out a community survey. The district says they will continue to work to make it an inclusive celebration.
Well, there was a new effort this morning in President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. House Republicans now taking aim at sanctuary cities. Those are the places where local authorities don't go after people whose only crime is coming to the U.S. illegally. The House Oversight and Government Reform Committee now says it's investigating those jurisdictions. Its chair saying they're hindering efforts to remove dangerous criminals. Advocates argue local authorities do arrest undocumented immigrants if they commit other offenses. This all comes as the Trump administration's immigration sweeps continue.
In the last 24 hours, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced a settlement capping insulin costs at $35 a month. This deal with insulin manufacturer Novo Nordisk comes after settlements with other insulin manufacturers, Eli Lilly and Sanofi, over the past few years. Those impacted joined Ellison for the announcement, including people who lost loved ones unable to pay high prices for insulin. They said this will save lives.
Because of this lawsuit, that person would not be turned away. Instead of saying, you owe us $2,600, pay up, or you got to go home and ration, now they can say, we just need $35. And so that is saving lives.
Ellison says the cap lasts for 5 years in Minnesota, giving the legislature time to work on a more permanent solution.
This morning, more businesses are cutting ties with Target following the company's decision to end its diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. In the last few days, Twin Cities Pride announced the Minnesota-based retailer would not have a presence at its festival or parade. Now, other longtime partners in the LGBTQ community and minority businesses are following suit, including Shaletta Brundid. She says Target's decision to advertise with her Shaletta Makes Me Laugh podcast network gave her a huge boost financially.
I'm heartbroken. I was one of the small businesses that benefited from the initiatives that Target implemented after George Floyd died. I have to stand on my word and my integrity and what I believe in. And my company is built and based on celebrating and uplifting Black people.
Target joins the likes of Walmart, Meta, and Amazon backing away from DEI. In fact, Amazon sponsored Shaletta's Black Entrepreneurs Day at the state capitol with $10,000. She says she'll be returning that money.
Time now, 8:08. The Timberwolves are waking up on a win streak this morning. They just won their third straight game, beating the Atlanta Hawks at home. Anthony Edwards flashed once again, finishing with a team-high 23 points. The Wolves hanging on to win 100-92, but Coach Chris Finch, he wasn't happy with the effort. In fact, he called it a totally unacceptable second half of basketball. Yikes. So as they fight to improve in the standings, their next matchup is tomorrow night against the Suns. They can do better. They can be better. They have been
had
better.
a piece of the
ceiling
Jumbotron fall on his head, and they still won. It's fine. Well, hey, starting today, you can check out a piece of Minnesota hockey history. Wild goalie Marc-Andre Fleury wore the special mask for Native American Heritage Night last season in honor of his wife, an Indigenous person from Canada. Designed by Dakota artist Cole Red Horse Taylor, the mask will now be on display at the Minnesota History Center as part of the Our Home Native Minnesota exhibit. Pretty cool. All right, 8:09 here on KARE 11 Plus. It's got warmer. It's 28 degrees. John, it was so nice to have the sunshine. It felt good to walk around my neighborhood.
Yes.
That light therapy means so much during the winter.
I wonder, it's kind of a sick and twisted thing, right? Because we love things so much here because it's so bad at times, but I kind of like it that way. That's why I enjoy seasons so much. But yeah, it's great. I mean, 40 degrees in January, I know everybody's going to be loving it, even if you're not a huge fan. Now, this is maybe a pessimistic take, but it's my job, all right? Maybe this just forces you outside. Winter's going to show back up. Again, we're still in a pattern of below average conditions, right? Just because you have a week above average does not mean it's an above average winter. This is a below average winter with 1 week of relief. So what does that mean? Well, as we go into the second week of February, we're back to it. 0, 5 below 0 for lows. Highs probably in the teens most days, maybe 20s. Not necessarily epically cold. We're in February now, but still, I do expect winter to make a return. Does that mean more snow? Well, it's not hard to say yes because we saw it 2 inches in January. So yeah, I do expect more than 2 inches in February. I can't really say a direct amount of snow because at the end of the day, you still need to get hit and there is a luck element to it. But yes, I expect more snow in February. 12 degrees right now in Grand Marais, 29 in the Twin Cities and in St. Cloud, 30 in Brainerd. Temperature's warm, but it is windy and the winds are increasing. We're seeing the winds get up to 20, 25 miles per hour, and you see it will go through the day here, at least through the morning. You'll see that west wind at 35 miles per hour at times. This was just shy of a wind advisory. The wind advisory is in the 40s. So no wind advisory today, just a blustery day, but 40s, 43 degrees, 42. It will still have a wind chill. It'll probably feel like the low 30s because of that wind. Thursday is the day where it will be this warm without the wind. So Thursday is that little gem of a day. Temperatures today warmer to the south, no snowpack, even in the Twin Cities. You lose a few degrees with that snowpack today, like Brainerd, it's still 40. And then there's Grand Marais with that light snow. Here's what the radar looks like. Again, you can see the radar. There's snow going on in Grand Marais. We'll see some snow showers through the afternoon. Hyper focused for the Iron Range and the North Shore. North Shore, Lutsen up to Grand Marais, could see 3 to 5 inches of snow. Now, as this swings to the south, we could see a flurry or two through tomorrow morning, but I'm not really expecting a whole lot from this. Most of this stays, like I said, really hyper-focused up here, but they could see a couple of inches of additional snowfall, but it is snowing. If you happen to be traveling in Grand Marais today, it's still winter up there. And tomorrow, 13 for a high. Definitely still winter when you get to Duluth. Now, south of Duluth, it's still colder. We'll see temperatures on Wednesday take a step back and then back again into the warming category on Thursday. Records 48. I do think we'll be right there. There's a boundary in the snowpack. I think it's hard for me to just say, yes, it's going to be 49. Now, if I'm Mankato, forecasting Mankato, I got 52 in Mankato. I think it's going to be warm in Mankato. I just think we're on the edge of that. So otherwise, the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, light mix possible Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Looks like this is going to be a minor event, though, maybe half an inch or so. Monday, we cool down, and that's where we start to turn the tables back to the colder air next week, 9 Monday morning.
All right, got to get out and enjoy this week. Thank you, John. Well, coming up here on KARE 11 Plus, brand new video from California claiming to show the start of a deadly wildfire.
Also, the health benefits outside of weight loss linked to Ozempic and Wegovy.
And if you were hosting a Super Bowl party this year, you know it's all about the food and the bevies. We're breaking down this year's costs in 4 minutes.
That guac does
I have
look
not
great.
been to a Super Bowl party since we hosted here. And I don't remember how long
Really?
ago that was.
Oh, wow.
7:15. Good Tuesday morning to you. Taking a live look outside on a warm start to your week. We are going to be thawing out. Say goodbye to snow. We're likely going to be gone. I don't know, at least by today in some spots for sure. John's going to have more details in 3 minutes.
Well, it's been exactly 3 weeks since the deadly wildfires broke out in Southern California, burning more than 50,000 acres and destroying thousands of homes and businesses.
In the last 24 hours here, the final evacuation orders were lifted for the largest Palisades fire. Many folks going back to what is left of their homes for the very first time. And right now, the area is only open to those living in there. LA Mayor Karen Bass telling people not to stay too long because of potential toxic waste and fumes. The EPA says phase 1 of cleanup could last up to 3 months.
Well, the cause of the Eaton fire is under investigation. A new lawsuit against the power company, Southern California Edison, claims video shows the utility company is to blame. So take a close look here. The lawsuit says this surveillance video shows sparks falling from power lines, turning into an active fire in just 10 minutes. The company is denying their equipment was involved. This morning, we can tell you all 3 active fires in the LA area, thankfully, are nearly 100% contained.
New research shows that popular weight loss drugs could have some long-term health benefits outside of weight loss. Let's connect the dots.
A new study finds these drugs may improve heart health, reduce infections, lower substance abuse risks, and even decrease the chance of dementia. But they also come with risks, including digestive issues, joint pain, and rare cases of dangerous inflammation. The drugs work by mimicking a gut hormone that suppresses hunger, but their impact goes way beyond weight loss. Scientists believe the drugs could reduce the risk of Alzheimer's and curb addictions like alcohol and tobacco use. More research is needed to fully understand the long-term effects of these drugs, but this study opens new doors for treating various health conditions. And that is Connecting the Dots.
We are just 12 days out from Super Bowl 59. And if you're hosting a party this year, first of all, please invite me. Second of all, you can budget about the same as last year when you head to the grocery store. According to a Wells Fargo report, if you're feeding 10 people a spread of chicken wings, guacamole, chips, and beer, it's going to cost you, bam, $139. That's just 10 cents more than last year's price. They say the cost of beer and some food items have gone up, but the cost of other things have gone down, balancing out that total. So I think that is kind of low. I think
does seem
for
a
10
little
people,
low.
I mean,
wings,
there's
guac,
variable. Sorry, the scientist in me is like, what are the variables? Are these John Ziegler's? 10 John Ziegler's?
If it's 10 John Zieglers, then you need a quadruple that price.
Right.
Pop, water.
Where you buying your
I don't
food?
even buy avocados anymore because they're like $3 for one.
You can get
Unless you
them
go to Costco and get the bag.
Costco, Aldi.
You can also get pre-made guac just in a container.
No.
It's not
Okay,
very
never
good.
mind. Wow.
No, what is
okay.
wrong with you?
Yikes, never mind. My bad.
And what kind of beer are you buying? You know, like,
PBR.
Yes,
okay,
the blue
20 bucks a
ribbon.
rack. But, you know, if you go with, the Voodoo Ranger, it's going to be $50 for 24 beers.
See, I usually do I'll do all the
You have
food
the
and I'll
exact
have people
numbers.
BYOB. Bring what you want to drink because not
like
everyone.
that.
I like that.
It's easier.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a
Do the
special
food.
drink or something. Like maybe
Right.
make a special drink and then everyone just bring their beer.
Do you guys
a
even
punch
do
or
anything?
something.
I
For Super
haven't
Bowl?
for
No,
sure.
not.
Yes,
Not in
I
like
know. I
last
haven't gone to a
10
party since, like I said, we hosted here.
Well, the problem is so I was like, do I take Monday morning off? Because at the time I was like, the Vikings are going to be in the Super Bowl.
And we believed, yeah.
I actually bought in, which was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But
Well.
well,
Put
So
it
are
on
you
the
off
list.
work? Or?
that's true. No, I'm not off work. But yeah, why would we do anything?
I go to sleep after halftime show.
But what if it's a good
After
game,
Kendrick
though?
performs, I'm done.
This is going to be a good game this year. The last time these two teams played, it was close. I feel like it's going to be a repeat of that. I feel like I have to stay up until the end.
You know what's so funny? We work in morning television, and we give people the recaps and the best highlights right here on Sunrise. So I always get to watch it and live it in the moment with the viewers.
Because you're first timer.
Yeah.
I watch all the Timberwolves games and I will watch the Super Bowl. But I'll go to bed immediately when it's done. So you can't be like drinking and eating
Yeah.
Otherwise I have acid reflux.
You ruin your body.
Tums. The Super Bowl should be sponsored by Tums.
Life should be sponsored by Tums.
Pepto, that stuff, great.
Yes, it
You
is.
know you're in your 30s.
Pepto pills.
When the other day I was like, "Do you have a Tums?" and you had them in your pocket.
I did.
I
I
was
just have
like,
them on
that's
demand.
great.
There's some on my desk right now
Mine
if anybody
too.
needs any.
Jason, Pepto.
Cece's not in the 30 range yet.
You don't know?
She doesn't know yet about the Tums.
Oh, you will. You will.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
that's a threat.
ominous. All right. Taking a look here at, it should be a crash popping up here. Hold on. Yep, here it is. This is Pine Springs, 694 northbound, right between exit 52 and Highway 36. It looks like things are clearing up, though. You can still take this exit, head towards Highway 36, or head toward the White Bear Lake area. Either way, things are clear, but watch out for this on your right. Hey, John.
Hey, all right, good morning, everyone. You know what? It's great in the backyard. You're really going to enjoy today. I mean, temperatures in the 40s. It will be very windy today. Disclosure, but we are not seeing snow. I cannot remember a time, even last winter, we had more snow frequency than we did this winter, which is hard to believe. 9.8 inches so far, 28.7 inches of snow is our average. So we're almost 20 inches behind average. Oh, a little bunny rabbit just went, hey, bunny. I know you can't see, so you're like, what? But no, little bunny back here, it's cute. Now, St. Cloud has a little bit more, and so does Duluth. But we're still way behind this. We'd have to, now I did a little post yesterday on my Facebook page about what is happening and transpiring. Big range. You got to open up the Gulf of Mexico. You got to open up that Gulf moisture and throw it up here. Once you do that, you actually have chances for snow. We have not had the Gulf moisture. That is going to change. So we are expecting Gulf moisture. How do I know? Well, when you look at the large scale, everybody's expected above average precip. I can tell you that the Climate Prediction Center is seeing, of course, what I'm seeing, and they're seeing what it looks like is it's a jet stream that drives the moisture and literally puts it all the way up here. Okay, that's still only one criteria or one variable, right? We need multiple things to happen here. We need cold air. So you need the moisture, one, and then the second ingredient is cold air. Can they match up at the same time for a snowstorm? It's likely to happen at some point in February. I don't know when, I don't know how, that's local, hyper-local. Snowstorms are hyper-local, but large scale, the pattern is there. That makes sense. Okay, now temperatures here are very warm, except for Grand Marais, 16 degrees. 29 in the Twin Cities. How about 30 this morning in Brainerd? You've got the south winds. Now the winds stop up here because there's a low, actually a little swirl, and that low is bringing some snow to Grand Marais. Everybody else, just a windy day today, mostly cloudy at times. We'll go in and out of the sun, so I'll call it partly sunny today. Winds out of the west and eventually northwest by this evening. So when you get a northwest wind, I do expect temperatures to start falling, but not until later tonight. So tomorrow's slightly cooler. Here's today's highs: 29 in Grand Marais, 43 here in the Twin Cities. How about 50 degrees in Marshall? And it gets even warmer. Now the snow today is really focused up towards the border, Canada, Minnesota border. Everybody else will just be enjoying the warmth. 34 tomorrow, there's a slight dip, and then we go back up to 45. Record-breaking temps are possible, especially south of Minneapolis. I could see some solid 50s in Mankato, like 52 or 3. I mean, that's amazing. Plus on Thursday, the winds cut back in half, so we'll only see a 10-mile-per-hour wind, which is going to be nice. Staying pretty mild on Friday, but I do expect temperatures to drop Friday during the day, and then the weekend a little cooler with a light mix Saturday evening. We will be back.
Hey, welcome back to Carolyn Plus. The Vikings, yeah, we're not getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Do you have to remind us?
I'm sorry, but they are keeping busy.
Yeah, Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy got out in the community yesterday. Take a look at this. He posted this video on Instagram handing out pizza to those that are unhoused in the city. He teamed up with an influencer to buy the pizzas from OG Zaza. He also gave the restaurant's owner some extra cash, saying his story inspired him. Good on JJ doing that.
Yeah.
Like I said, very much starting quarterback behavior.
That's awesome. And I love that he partnered. So Josh Liljenquist is who we partnered with, and he is that influencer that we mentioned. And he's been doing this forever. He's
Yeah, you
local.
did a story on him.
Did a story with him. He gave coats to a whole elementary school. And what's crazy, he gets the money from like crowd people want to help, and
Yeah.
everyone. It's just so cool. It's a great sense of community.
Very,
for sure.
very
awesome.
grassroots, not corporate sponsors.
Yeah.
jumping
Like a
in,
new
it's people.
age
Yeah.
of charity. But I think it's awesome because you get to see, that's one thing that's old school charity. You don't necessarily get to see it. This is just straight up, you're witnessing the gifts and the giving, and that's great. 43 degrees here. Today is a blustery day. 34 degrees on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies. Warming it up to 45, record 48. Could we break the record? Sure. I'm not going to forecast record, but the reason for that is we are still melting snow. That's a variable. That's a caveat to this. If we had absolutely no snow and no moisture on the ground, yeah, I'd put 50 on there because Mankato, I got you guys at 52. 37 on Friday, weekend light mix Saturday evening. There's a quick little, we'll talk more later in the week about this, but yeah, it doesn't look major. Could there be some slick spots Saturday evening? Yes, it's possible. By Monday, well, that's where winter shows back up, 9 Monday morning.
Hey, still seeing some slowing around the metro. If you're leaving within the next 10, 12 minutes, I'd add a few extra minutes to your commute. If you're seeing slowing in 94 in St. Paul, it's because a crash just popped up there. I'll have a live picture for you when I see it next.
All right, welcome back to KARE 11 Plus. Thank you for streaming with us. 8:29 on the clock here on this Tuesday. Jason and Alicia here with you. We've already been talking all morning about what we're going to put on the grill this week, what we're going to cook, because it's going to be a good time to be outside on Wednesday.
I think
and Thursday.
you decided on jerk chicken on the grill, which is lovely, and I'm going to smoked ribs.
And you're doing ribs, but you're doing it not with the sweet barbecue sauce.
No, we argue about this a lot,
Yeah.
John. I'm kind of a dry rub gal, and then I'll put the sauce.
yes.
Like I want to do a hot honey glaze.
And I want the sweet, I want the sticky, I
Okay.
want the brown sugar.
Two different types of the region for barbecue, right?
Yeah.
Little Kansas City style, little Texas style, different, right? I like both. I can't decide. Oh no, do I have to decide? Nah, I just want to eat. I like where your head's at though. You know, in the summertime where it doesn't matter what day it is because every day feels like Saturday, I like that vibe. Thursday, who cares? It's nice. Let's go. 29 degrees out here right now. It is, well, it's nice. It's a little windy out here, I guess. I'm not trying to have a bad attitude about it. 20, 30 mile an hour wind gusts at the moment, but it's nice. I mean, it's been really nice to have a break. We're going to go back to winter here, so it is a little bit of fool's gold, so you got to make sure to soak it in. Thursday's the day. 29 degrees out here right now, 31 in Duluth. Look at Duluth and Brainerd. Super warm until Grand Marais, and that boundary up there is bringing snow. They have some snow. We'll take a look at the radar here in a second, but you can see the winds very strong up into that low. Winds will be gusting today, 35 miles per hour. That's at noon. It will continue to pick up steam here as we go throughout the morning. 40s though today. I mean, what a day that is going to be. You can see Grand Marais there. I definitely have some light snow showers on there. So we'll take a look at some of their snow that they're going to get. We'll also take a look, obviously, at the 7-day forecast, Thursday, the weekend mix, and then when winter shows up. That's your forecast coming up.
Hey there in St. Paul, 94 westbound. Ooh, the camera just moved. Well, there was a crash as you head toward 61, Highway 61 north. Taking that exit, but it looks like it just cleared as we're speaking. So if you're headed toward downtown St. Paul area, you should be okay. If you're even going past that, head toward Minneapolis, drive times look great. During this half hour, I'll be talking about a construction project that's going to start up in less than 30 minutes, and then also some more drive times across the metro. Jason.
All right, Cece, thank you. Let's turn to our top story here. A special election today will decide the balance of power once and for all in the state Senate.
Now, polls are open right now in Northeast Minneapolis. Now, whoever wins will break the current 33-33 tie in the chamber. The District 60 seat, once held by the late DFL Senator Carrie Dietzick, is up for grabs. Michelle Beck is joining us live from one of the polling locations for a closer look at what's on the ballot. Michelle, has it been busy there?
Not too busy since we last spoke. We do have a couple voters here in the room right now casting their ballots as we speak. Well, we know that what happens in Northeast Minneapolis is going to be consequential, not just for this district, but the entire state. Previously holding the seat for District 60 was Senator Carrie Dietzick. The former DFL majority leader passed away last month, leaving the chamber to start the legislative session with a temporary tie of 33 Republicans to 33 Democrats. For the last 2 weeks, the two parties figured out how to share their power. Senator said their cooperation will continue in part because the late Senator Dietzick had talked a lot about Minnesotans treating each other with respect. Now, guys, there is certainly a lot of work here to be done, especially as this year lawmakers are required to pass a budget. We'll certainly see once polls close at 8 o'clock where this goes from here, what party will take majority control and where things will go from here. Back to you.
All right. We, of course, will have the latest updates throughout the day today and tomorrow. Thank you, Michelle. We're also tracking the latest developments in the push to expel State Senator Nicole Mitchell. A motion failing in the last 24 hours after Democrats blocked it from a vote. The DFL senator is charged with felony burglary, accused of breaking into her stepmother's home. Republicans say she has tarnished the Senate, while Democrats say she deserves due process. A judge postponed her trial until after the legislative session ends in May at Mitchell's request. And over in the Minnesota House, the DFL continues to boycott this morning over the lack of a power sharing agreement. The Republicans have a temporary majority, but the High Court just ruled it doesn't have enough votes to conduct official business. A special election is set for March.
A new overnight, President Donald Trump signed more executive orders reshaping the federal government, taking steps to pause all federal spending. An internal memo from the White House Office of Management and Budget orders federal agencies to freeze all federal aid starting at 5 tonight, calling it a temporary pause to determine the best use of funding. There's also a new batch of orders directed at the military. For the second time, Trump banned transgender people from serving in the military. He also reinstated and gave back pay to service members who refused the COVID-19 vaccine. He also signed an order gutting the military's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Those new policies at the Pentagon coinciding with Pete Hegseth's first day as Secretary of Defense.
A woman charged for this deadly fire at a historic Minneapolis apartment in August will make her first appearance in court today. Charging documents say 35-year-old Deanna Pressberry threatened to burn down the building after a fight with a man about picking up some of her belongings. 2 people died and at least 30 people were displaced. This afternoon, Ramsey County probation officers will be voting on a strike authorization. Teamsters Local 320, the union representing the workers, will share next steps if they vote it through. The union says workers are pushing for more pay and overtime. They also want professional development opportunities and to address seniority issues.
Time now 8:35, and take a look at your screen right now. This inclusive poster series has been at the center of a years-long battle in the Lakeville School District. And now the debate over the posters is back in the spotlight tonight. Audrey Russo joins us now from our newsroom as the school board prepares to make a final decision here. Audrey.
Yeah, Jason, the vote tonight represents just how much division exists over these posters. Let's take a closer look at what they look like. They've got messages about diversity and the phrase Black Lives Matter. School officials say about 3,000 of them were put up in 2021, and the controversy started pretty much right away. Parents filed a lawsuit saying their request to include Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter posters was rejected. Now, the suit was dismissed in 2023, but a federal appeals judge reinstated it this past June. And in that time, there's been turnover on the Lakeville School Board. 2 newly elected members were supported by the Minnesota Parents Alliance. They're an interest group concerned about activism at the expense of academics, and that's a direct quote from their website, where they give 3 Lakeville School Board members their stamp of approval. Now, tonight's meeting starts at 7, but the discussion and the vote on the posters is listed far down below on the agenda, below the public comment period. And by the way, Lakeville requires those wishing to speak at public comment periods to register by noon the day before the meeting. So if you haven't registered to speak, you won't be able to. Back to you.
All right, Audrey Russo reporting from the newsroom. Thank you. In the last 12 hours, there was a packed school board meeting in Eden Prairie as parents and families push for the district to make a change to this year's graduation date. Raya Katene has the details.
Some Eden Prairie parents and families are frustrated with the school district's decision to schedule a graduation ceremony on the same day as a major Muslim holiday. Eden Prairie High School's graduation is planned for June 7th at U.S. Bank Stadium, the same date as Eid al-Adha, one of only 2 major Muslim holidays. The district does not track religious affiliations, but the Muslim American Society of Minnesota estimates that roughly 20% of Eden Prairie High School's almost 3,200 students are Muslim. When making their decision, the school district says they met with 2 cultural liaisons and 4 local Muslim faith leaders known as imams. They also sent a graduation survey in November asking for the community's input, and they say they will continue working to make the ceremony an inclusive celebration.
Well, a group of parents with kids in Annandale Public Schools says they've raised more than $100,000 to help fund the schools. This action comes as school districts across our state are facing budget shortfalls. Last month, the parents launched a Facebook group to raise money after voters rejected a tax levy that would have raised $1.5 million. The organizers behind Cardinals Rising say they're worried about cuts to programs and staffing.
These teachers are our neighbors and our friends, and our kids go to school with their children, and this is just something that is directly impacting our children as well.
So they say raising money isn't meant to be a permanent fix, and their bigger goal here is to pass a new tax levy.
In a matter of hours, the executive director for Twin Cities Pride will talk with Target for the first time since cutting ties with the Minnesota-based company. Twin Cities Pride ousted Target from its annual parade and festival following the company's decision to end its diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. But cutting them out is a costly move for the organization. Target was a $50,000 sponsor. That money also helps fund regional celebrations and programming. But Twin Cities Pride says they'll find a way to move forward.
This is bigger than a donation. This is bigger than just changing a policy. This impacts people's lives. We have to stand up. If we're going to be an ally, we need to be an ally, even when it's tough.
Andy Otto says he is willing to listen and is hopeful Target will change course. We reached out to the company for a response, but we haven't heard back.
Yeah, I saw a post from Twin Cities Pride. They say they raised the $50,000 in under 24 hours that they were looking to raise. So, yeah. Today, we are patiently waiting for the release of the Minnesota Yacht Club lineup for this summer's festival. Organizers posting this tease on X yesterday. The festival is July 18th through the 20th at Harriet Island Park. Last year's headliners included Gwen Stefani, Alanis Morissette, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So a pretty good lineup last year. We're going to see what they bring this year.
Yes.
Be good.
Summertime in Minnesota.
Gotta find someone with a boat. Then you can just kind of drive up and listen for free. What?
That would be cool. I don't have a boat. Do you?
No.
We got to get
friends
with boats.
Canoe.
We can canoe over.
That's right. That'd be awesome. 29 degrees here this morning, getting up to 43 this afternoon. So today is a warm, windy day. Now it's going to be warm for the entire week, but we'll just bounce around temperatures a little bit. Tomorrow we'll dip down into the 30s. Ooh, 30s. 43 degrees out here today. cold to the north, and yeah, they got snow actually up on the northland and then up towards the Canadian border. That's where there's some light snow. Got to get way up there, and you can see there is the light snow right now on radar. They're going to see some snow showers continue throughout the day. They'll spin down the low. This is through 4:30. If you want to pick up accumulation, you got to get up to Grand Marais. Bemidji area, Brainerd, could you see a passing flurry as the cold front of this comes through? Yes, this would be late tonight. Twin Cities, same deal, but I'm just calling for a few isolated flurries through Wednesday morning. As temperatures drop again, you really don't see a whole lot, dusting up in Brainerd. Otherwise, yeah, the accumulating snow is really up, way up the North Shore, up towards Grand Marais. 34 degrees tomorrow, so there's a slight dip in temperatures from that push with that north wind behind this front, but it's a one-day cool down. Temperatures are going to come right back up. So as we go into Thursday, this is going to be Thursday morning. This would be great. Have temperatures around 30. It'll be even warmer Thursday morning. And then Thursday afternoon is where we take off. Now the model is indicating, I'll tell you what the model is. A model. So the model is thinking there's a big deep snowpack. So they probably overdo it up here. They're saying 28 in Brainerd. It's probably still going to be 35 in Brainerd. But what I'm looking at the model doing is it's picking up that there's bare ground in Marshall, Mankato, and Rochester, so it's going to be warm down there. Here in the Twin Cities, we're in between this, but still, I'm going 45. Record was 48. That lets you know that we're in the dead of winter when a record isn't even in the 50s. That's how 45 should feel. It's going to feel warm. It's almost record-breaking. Getting into the weekend, there is a light mix coming Saturday. It's something I'll start to focus on a little bit more midweek, but is it major? Absolutely not. I think we'll get a little quick dusting Saturday evening, maybe a few lingering snow showers Sunday, half an inch or so. That's what it looks like this weekend, but you never know. And then Monday, 9 degrees Monday morning, it will cool back down.
Outside of seeing some slow spots on 394, 494, and parts of 694 by Pine Springs, I'm also seeing higher than normal drive times on 169 northbound. We're seeing that taking a few more minutes than it usually does, so add a few extra minutes to your commute. When I see you next, I'll be talking about that project that I previewed that's going to start in about 15 minutes.
All right, Cece, thank you. This morning we're taking a look back at some favorite SNL performances from Minnesota artists.
You don't know what's going to happen until 11:30 p.m.
It's the tightrope walk. They want to see you dangle. They don't want to see you fall.
Well, in case you missed it, NBC paid tribute to the musicians of Saturday Night Live last night. And for many, it's not just a gig, it's almost a rite of passage. And several of those musicians were from here in Minnesota.
That's right. Irina Sargentopoulos caught up with some of them and got some behind-the-scenes stories she didn't necessarily expect.
It's probably no surprise that we would start with Prince, and probably no surprise that there was something special about his first SNL appearance.
I can still remember how nervous I was.
Bobby Z is the drummer for The Revolution, the band behind the man. It was 1981, and Prince had just released the Dirty Mind album.
It was an amazing situation because we weren't actually the musical cast. Todd Rundgren was the musical cast that did the normal 2 songs.
Bobby says somehow someone convinced Lorne Michaels to let this new talent play 1 song before the final skit.
Wanted us to run off the stage. I escaped through the side, and he runs off, throws the microphone down, typical Prince fashion. But it was all pretty new back then, his renegade ways. It was very fond memory.
It was a hit. Prince would go on to play 3 more times on the show. In 1989 on the SNL 15th anniversary special, in 2006 as musical guest, and in 2014, where he once again broke the mold. Instead of playing the traditional 2 songs, Prince played 3 songs, back to back, midway through the show, a nearly 9-minute set. Back up a couple of years and switch to a completely different genre. That's when Minnesota's other native son, Bob Dylan, appeared on the show. October 20th, 1979. It was the one and only time the singer-songwriter would play. Rockers The Replacements had made quite a name for themselves on the music scene. Unfortunately, when it comes to SNL, it was not a good one. Their January 18th, 1986 performance was considered a beautiful disaster. What do we mean by that? Well, first, the band not only performed intoxicated, but lead singer Paul Westerberg let out a swear word during one of the songs. The band did make a short list, though, the list of acts banned from SNL. But it certainly grabbed someone's attention because despite all that, the performance still ranks 2nd all-time on the Rolling Stones list of best musical guests. A few years later, another Minnesota staple would appear on the show. Oh no. Morris Day and the Time performed on October 20th, 1990. Morris Day also made the mistake of using an expletive during their performance.
Where the f*** this chicken come from? I thought I ordered ribs.
While the band was not banned, it would be their only Saturday Night Live gig. If you are a Gen Xer, you no doubt have memories of Soul Asylum.
We're all kind of dudes from Minneapolis that don't really know how to act.
Lead singer Dave Pirner says the experience was unlike any other, even though performing live is what bands do.
Really felt like the band was part of like a Broadway production. People are moving fast and changing costumes, running around in this kind of chaotic situation that seems chaotic, but it's really pretty well organized.
On March 20th, 1993, Soul Asylum played Black Gold and Somebody to Shove. It was right before their mega hit, Runaway Train, was released.
It's all seemingly routine to some people, and other people are just kind of jazzed up on, wow, this is really exciting. That person would have been me.
Pirner says he grew up watching the show, so to be there was epic. Speaking of epic, those famous after parties.
I remember peeing next to Mike Myers, who I'm a huge fan of, and I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, hey man, I do a pretty good Garth. And he goes, yeah, I bet you do.
And here's a fun fact. R&B singer Sisqó may not have been born here, but calls Minnesota home. You know the thong song? He performed on SNL April 15th, 2000. And if we're collecting folks not native to our great state, let's throw Lizzo in the mix. I mean, she spent a minute or two here, right? Lizzo was musical guest 3 times on the show, once in 2019 and twice in 2022. And on April 16th, 2022, she joined a short list of people who pulled double duty as host and musical guest.
I do love tonight's musical guest.
The show has spanned 5 decades and made an impact on several generations. So to be part of that history, well, it's just cool.
You're amongst some extremely talented people, so you're going, what am I doing here?
It was an incredible moment in time.
And the SNL tributes will rock on. NBC is airing a 3-hour primetime event, SNL 50, the anniversary special, on Sunday, February 16th. That week, Rena will have more Minnesota moments. We'll also have a special right here on our streaming platform, KARE 11 Plus. Great job by Rena looking back at all those acts.
Fun.
It is still one of the most surprising things to learn that Cisco lives here. I learned that when I first moved here.
I think he's in Maple Grove.
Blew my mind that he's just like down the street.
Too bad she couldn't get him on camera. I
Yeah.
feel like he's elusive. Like no one really sees him, but we know he's here. If you're watching, we'd love to have you on
Yes.
anytime.
Cisco, please come down to KARE 11. We'd love to see you. All right, John.
Dude, a cheapskate. I was listening to Cisco in 5th grade. Probably a little naughty for 5th grade, but
a little bit.
Yeah, but it's fine. It was. I mean, I love Cisco. Let's hang out. It is windy out here right now. I will tell you that the winds are taking over, but enjoy the warmth because it's gonna change. Womp womp. Yeah, well, if you want winter, if you want snow, I wouldn't give up yet. Now, the people who absolutely despise snow, we've already won. I don't know if I'm going to be in that. I'm in any camp. I like whatever happens, but 40 days without any snow, pretty much. I mean, come on, that's insane. So yes, I do think February is a hearty February, snow and cold. That's my forecast right now for it. Again, we still got to get somewhat lucky, but I see a lot more opportunities for snow. 29 degrees out there now. Winds are whipping around. The story today is the blustery winds. That's the number one story. And then number two is actually the temp, because I can't talk about the temperature without telling you how blustery it is. 29 degrees, but look at Grand Marais, just the one eyesore up there, 16. I mean, they're still in the middle of winter. Up towards, you get up towards Tofty, you get up towards Embarrass, Minnesota. That's where the snow is today. Otherwise, for most of us, southwest winds driving the warmth. The winds will actually increase as we go throughout the morning. 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts as we go into the 11:30 noon hour. So again, it gets stronger. It will wind down as we go into Wednesday. Now, it's still going to be a little breezy, and that's expected. When you're warm in the wintertime with fronts, it'll be expected. But today's the day for wind. And you'll see that throughout the afternoon. Otherwise, I think we'll see plenty of sunshine in and out of the sun. We'll go partly sunny today, 43 degrees. Highs to the south of us, nearing 50. Mankato, you got a shot at 50 on Thursday. Areas in Grand Marais, 29 still. So there's still some light snow showers up there. The accumulations are way up on the arrowhead of Minnesota. You got to get way up there, even probably north of areas like Silver Bay. Maybe they'll see an inch or two up there. Most of the snow just turns into some flurries. Now at this point, we're transitioning into some colder air through tomorrow morning. Colder air. It's not going to be cold, but colder than it is today. Additional accumulation up there, about an inch, inch and a half. Most of us will not see accumulating snow, which is how it's been. Temperatures tomorrow, they dip. 33, 34, 33 in Brandon, 34 in the cities. Still 40 degrees in Mankato. As we go to Thursday, this is where it gets interesting. The non-snowpackers, the Mankato, the Jackson, the Marshalls, I got you in the 50s, 40s in the central part of the state, and then still maybe a little cooler on Thursday to the north. But I got us at 45 degrees. Record of 48. We're right there if everything works out. Temperatures over the weekend, they fall a bit. It looks like Friday, maybe 35 to 37, starting to cool down. And then that transition continues into Monday. But again, no major system for the weekend, but watch out for a little bit of mix. I would say best chance for that Saturday evening, maybe even Saturday afternoon to Saturday night.
In about 5 minutes, a lane will be closed on Highway 7 in both directions between County Road 155 here, which is near the Minnetrista area, and Smithtown Road, which is in Victoria. A pretty long stretch of road there. Single lane traffic, alternating directions, starting at 9, ending at 3 today, tomorrow, and Thursday, we're told flaggers will be out there helping to kind of navigate, but it could be a slow go if you're a late commuter and you're going to be making your way towards Excelsior or Mayor Watertown area over the next hour or so. We'll be back.
8:57 on your way out the door. Here is some news to go. Right now, the polls are open in Northeast Minneapolis. It's for the special election to fill the state Senate seat in District 60. The seat was previously held by Carrie Dietzick, who passed away last month. District 60 is historically heavily blue, but whichever party wins will hold a one-seat majority in the Senate. Polls are open until 8 p.m. Tonight in Lakeville, the school board is expecting a packed house as they decide whether to remove an inclusive poster series from the schools. The issue has parents sounding off over the removal of 3,000 posters that the school officials tell us were, quote, to support creating school communities where students are respected, valued, and welcome. The meeting begins tonight at 7.
Okay, let's get out to your 7-day forecast. 43 degrees today. It is windy. I think this, again, very windy. That's going to be the #1 headline today. Winds up to 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 34, you take a dip. We could see a couple of flurries late tonight through tomorrow morning as that front comes through, but it's not that strong of a front because we rebound Thursday to 45. Thursday's the better day, I would say, than today, just because the winds are cut in half. Winds are still 15, but 15 compared to 35. Big difference. Otherwise, Saturday and Sunday, just a light mix coming in here Saturday evening. It's hard to get excited about it again. It's very, very minor at this point.
All right, it looks like slowing starting to ease up across the metro. Still seeing some slow spots, but seeing also a couple crashes, but they're not slowing things down too much. They're mostly off to the side. I leave you with a pretty view over Stillwater.